Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day before we begin the video. Please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Julie Chrisley has been on a journey of self-reflection, resilience, and rediscovery ever since her release from prison, and she has been using her voice in powerful ways to share that journey with the world. Through the relaunch of Chrisley Confessions, now dubbed Chrisley Confessions 2.0, she has given fans a front row seat into her life, her emotions, and her healing. One of the most striking and heartfelt episodes of this new chapter came when she invited a friend from her time behind bars, Sharita Mona, to join her in an emotional conversation titled Friends from Prison. The episode opened a window into a world that many people never see, and it allowed Julie to showcase not just her own growth, but also the humanity of those who are often overlooked, forgotten, or unfairly judged. In the episode, Julie welcomed Sharita with the same warmth and grace that she has long been known for. Their rapport was immediate, authentic, and filled with a bond that can only be forged in the crucible of shared hardship. Julie explained to listeners that while prison is not a place anyone hopes to find themselves, it was also a place where unexpected connections could be made. For her, meeting Sharita became one of those unexpected blessings. Together, they talked about life inside the prison walls, the daily struggles, the emotional toll, and the small but meaningful ways they supported each other. Sharita shared her story with honesty, revealing what it was like to enter the prison system and find a sense of identity and community despite the challenges. She talked about how difficult it was to feel cut off from the outside world, but how women like Julie helped create a space where mutual support could thrive. Both women described nights when they leaned on each other for encouragement, when prayers were whispered in the silence, and when a simple smile could change the entire mood of a long day. Julie admitted that without friendships like the one she developed with Sharita, she might not have endured the experience with the same strength. The episode was about more than just friendship, though it was also a conversation about survival, about the strength of women, and about the power of compassion inside a system that often feels cold and unforgiving. Julie asked Sharita about the lessons she carried out of prison, and Sharita responded by emphasizing resilience. She said that one of the greatest lessons she learned was that even in confinement, you have a choice to hold on to your humanity, to lift up others, and to believe in something better. Julie resonated deeply with this sentiment, adding that she herself clung to faith and the thought of her family waiting for her on the outside. Listeners heard Julie open up in ways that were both vulnerable and inspiring. She admitted that before her time in prison, she had preconceived ideas of what incarceration would look like. She feared hostility, isolation, and despair. While those elements were present, she said what she found most surprising was the capacity for kindness and connection. She emphasized that women inside looked out for one another, sharing what little they had and creating a sense of community. When the larger system failed to provide it, her friendship with Sharita became an example of this resilience of spirit and a reminder that even in the darkest of places, light can be found through human connection. The conversation also explored how life changes after release. Julie and Sharita reflected on the adjustments that come with freedom. Julie talked about the joy of hugging her children again, sitting at a dinner table without restrictions, and experiencing everyday moments with a newfound appreciation. Sharita echoed these feelings, but also acknowledged the difficulties of reintegration. She spoke about the stigma that former inmates faced, the judgments from society, and the uphill battle to rebuild. Both women agreed that sharing their stories publicly was a way to challenge stereotypes and humanize the experiences of those who have been incarcerated. Throughout the episode, Julie returned to the theme of faith. She said that prison tested her faith more than anything else in her life, but it also strengthened it. She described nights spent praying and mornings when a small devotional or scripture gave her strength. Sharita said that seeing Julie's steadfast belief encouraged her own walk of faith, and that their shared spiritual bond was a cornerstone of their friendship. Julie admitted that her relationship with God had taken on a new dimension behind bars. She no longer saw faith as something tied to convenience, but as a lifeline in moments of despair. The episode struck a chord with many listeners who reached out afterward to express how moved they were by the honesty of the conversation. Julie said she was overwhelmed by the support and by how many people shared their own stories of resilience through messages and letters. It confirmed for her that Chrisley Confessions 2.0 could be more than just a podcast about her family. It could become a platform for healing conversations and a place where stories of survival could be shared openly. What made the conversation with Sharita especially powerful was its authenticity. There was no attempt to sugarcoat the reality of prison or to pretend that the experience was anything less than grueling. But at the same time, the episode did not dwell only on the hardship. It illuminated the hope, the friendships, and the strength that women discovered within themselves. Sharita revealed that she never expected to come out of prison with a lifelong friend. But that is what happened with Julie. The two women laughed at shared memories, recalled small moments of joy like sharing snacks during recreation time or celebrating birthdays in simple but heartfelt ways. These anecdotes show that even in an environment designed to break spirits, connections can be made that uplift and endure. Julie also used the platform to highlight an important issue: the lack of resources for women both inside and after prison. She talked about how many women are released without adequate support and how difficult it can be to find housing, employment, and stability. She emphasized that society needs to do better, and she expressed a desire to advocate for reforms that will make reintegration more humane. Sharita echoed this concern, saying that too often women are set up to fail when they leave prison because the stigma follows them everywhere. The discussion inevitably turned to Julie's own family and how her friendships from prison have shaped the way she sees her role as a mother and wife. Now she said that being separated from Todd and her children was the most painful part of her sentence, but it also gave her a new perspective on gratitude. She said that every hug, every laugh, every meal together is now seen as a blessing rather than an expectation. Sharita reminded Julie that even in prison, she was a source of inspiration for others, encouraging women to believe that life could get better. Julie smiled through tears, admitting that her hope was to set an example for her children by showing them that even in failure there can be redemption. As the episode drew to a close, Julie reflected on what the friendship with Sharita meant to her. She described it as proof that God places people in our lives at the exact moment we need them. She said that Sharita was more than a friend, she was a sister, a confidant, and a reminder that no one has to go through hardship alone. Sharita, in turn, praised Julie's resilience, saying that her quiet strength helped many women inside endure their own struggles. The mutual admiration was evident, and it underscored the genuine nature of their bond. Chrisley Confessions 2.0 has quickly become a vehicle for Julie to tell her story in her own words, and the Friends from Prison episode stands out as one of the most impactful installments so far. It stripped away the glitz of reality television and the headlines of courtrooms, leaving only the raw humanity of two women who survived an experience many cannot imagine. Their honesty, their laughter, and their shared tears resonated deeply with listeners, reminding them that behind every headline, there are real people with real stories. For Julie, the journey continues. She has expressed a desire to continue highlighting voices like Sharita's to show the world that prison does not define a person's worth. She wants to use her platform to advocate for compassion, understanding, and change. Her friendship with Sharita is only one of many stories, but it symbolizes the resilience of the human spirit and the possibility of connection even in places where hope is scarce. The Friends from Prison episode may have been one podcast installment, but its impact will linger far longer. It has shifted perceptions, opened hearts, and reminded audiences that redemption is possible. Julie Chrisley has proven that her story is not just about scandal and survival, but about faith, friendship, and the power of sharing truth. Sharita Mana's presence in the conversation underscored that no one walks through hardship alone. Together, they painted a portrait of resilience that is as inspiring as it is real. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, America Trends 24, and stay with us.